what is happening? All of my roaches out there, welcome back to the brand new Roach Motel, the Josh Potter Show, back for another episode, fresh off of an airplane, about to get back on another one. We'll get into it in a second. That's what I do. I fly here just to do this little show for y'all. So thank you for crawling out from under the floorboards, and thank you to all the Chicago roaches who came out to Zany's in Chicago this past weekend. Unbelievable time. 5 shows, packed to the gills. Thank you if you bought a poster, if you took a picture. Please to be tagging me in all of your pictures. Let me know that you were at the show. I had a great time meeting everybody. Special thanks to the club, to Dave Kaplan over at NBC Sports having me in there. That was a hell of a time. Got to meet Ozzie Guillen, the legend himself. It was weird. He was in a green room and he was just chilling watching the White Sox finish their game, and they were getting smoked by the Royals, and he's just like pissed off. It was like he was coaching it, and I was like, is it okay if I ask him for a picture? It was a weird time to ask him, but he couldn't have been nicer. So thank you so much for coming out. Got another show. Next show will be the 25th of August, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Make sure you're in Helium for that bad boy. Tickets are available up on my Instagram at Josh_Potter. Also up on my Twitter at J_Potter. So thank you so much if you came out, and I hope I see you at the Pittsburgh, did I say Pittsburgh? I meant Philadelphia. What's going on with me? Did I say Pittsburgh the first time?
I think you said Pittsburgh the first time.
Well, it's Philadelphia, folks. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, August 25th. I've been confusing my Philadelphias and Pittsburghs lately, and it's really... My dad used to live in Pittsburgh. I think that has something to do with it. But, yeah, no, Philadelphia, August 25th. I've probably fucked that up 1,000 times and just noticed it. But thank you again if you came out, and we'll see you on the 25th. Also, twitch.tv/Josh_Potter. The football season is beginning. We'll be up on that bad boy once again doing Madden. Also, patreon.com/The Josh Potter Show if you'd like to watch things over there. Can we start this clock, by the way? Sorry. No, it's all good, dude. I appreciate you having it there. But yeah, you know, I'm excited to get back on the road. I've been on the road, and I'm having the wears and tears again, and I love it. I'm so happy, and thank you again if you came to Chicago. I'm going to Austin tomorrow, though, hopping on another plane to go be a part of Your Mom's House Live 8, which I hope you've bought the pay-per-view for that. I'm going to be a part of the pre-show, which is the VIP section. So if you bought the VIP scenario with the merch, you'll be seeing me on the pre-show, and I couldn't be more pumped to be a part of Your Mom's House Live. So that's why I'm here for 24 hours. I leave. I just got a new apartment, and I might as well not have it at this rate. But I'm excited, and can't wait to see you down the road. Also, a show with Chase O'Donnell happening in Yuma, Arizona, September 30th. So we're gonna be co-headlining if you live in that area. I don't know where Yuma, Arizona is. The person who's promoting it couldn't be nicer. I'm gonna find out where Yuma, Arizona is. So if you live in that area, Chase and I will be coming through September 30th. Those tickets will be on sale very soon as well. So now that we've got all the plugs out of the way, I am excited for the sports. We're gonna get right into it, my friend, because it's getting to be that time of year. Right now, it's like, you know, the twilight of the sports year. Most of the summer is kind of boring because it's just baseball. I love baseball, don't get me wrong. But when you're in the dog days of July and then August, it starts to get monotonous. And you're like, man, I cannot wait for friggin' football. So let's get into the sports now, shall we? Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. And that's right, baby. Football is officially back.
You have to like when there's a guy coming right in your face and he just sits in there and delivers it really well.
I don't even know who that is in terms of broadcasting, but he's not wrong. Boy, oh boy, you have to like when a guy comes in your face and he just delivers it, right? God, I'm so happy football's back already. Preseason. It's preseason. And we're getting gems like that right out of the rip. And I can't wait for more. So send them on in if you see them. Because I can't watch all the preseason games. I try. But their games are usually locally broadcast. And then sometimes they'll replay them on NFL Network. But you also get less experienced broadcasters. So they say real gems like that one. And I don't even know who that was. It's probably somebody I've actually heard before. But at the end of the day, That's one where a guy says it. He goes, "Oh yeah, you gotta love it when a guy comes in your face," and you're sitting next to him, and thank God you're not on television the entire time, because you're sitting next to him, and you're like, does he know what he just said? Does he have any idea? Or you make a face, and he then realizes. Usually you hear him snicker afterwards, but it seems like they really glossed over that guy right there. Boy, oh boy. That was a full sentence. I mean, yeah, but that was a full on. That's one where I look at the guy and I go, maybe sit the next couple out there, pal. Maybe you take a little rest before you start giving us some more analogies. Gotta love when a guy just comes in your face and just delivers it. Can we hear it one more time?
You have to like when there's a guy coming right in your face and he just sits in there and delivers it really well.
Oh, it's even better than I repeated it as. I gotta love when there's a guy coming right in your face and he just sits in there and delivers it really well. Well, also, it's I was looking forward to over the weekend. The Buffalo Bills played a preseason game and they won, and I was excited. But it really, it's preseason. It's just a little tease. But we got to see Deshaun Watson in action, and we might not see him all season. We're still waiting to find out, as of at least this recording, 12 or so hours before release of the program on Tuesday. We're still waiting to find out what's going to happen to Deshaun Watson, if indeed he will get what the third-party arbitration person gave him, which was a 6-game suspension for exposing his beehole to masseuses all over the country, 35 or so, plus masseuses, only masseuses. So it's very serial of him to be, he wanted to get his quote-unquote glutes massaged. I don't know if he's aware that they know the glutes aren't in your asshole. The glutes are your actual ass. But nevertheless, I mean, we found out how many people had complaints about it, but I'm curious how many people complained about it versus, because a lot of times sexual assault goes unreported. So that means he's probably tried this like 600 times in his life. And that means there's probably a fraction of them who are like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, that did it too, So he's a menace to just massage parlors. He shouldn't be going to the professional ones. He should be only going to the ones where they, in fact, advertise, maybe not publicly, but through word of mouth, through ass to mouth, perhaps, that they do this type of service. He needs to stick with those. Robert Kraft could give him a couple lessons or two about where to go. So he's facing the 6-game suspension, and now the league, it's up to them to decide, do we want to uphold 6 games, or do we want to give him more, do we want to give him less? We might not see him for the entirety of the season. He might not play this whole year. So having him start an NFL preseason game was an interesting choice by the Cleveland Browns. And they thought, we're going to knock a little rust off him. He hasn't played in a game since 2019 because of all this. So we have to see what we've got here. And so the Cleveland Browns went down to Jacksonville to play their first preseason game. And boy, oh boy, the Jacksonville Jaguars fans, they really showed out. I mean, these people, you don't hear much about the Jaguars fan. People probably assume they're probably one of the worst fan bases in the country. Sorry, I just flicked that pen cap into the air. That was wild. Really launched that bad boy. But, yeah, no, the Jaguars, when you hear, like, football fandom, Jacksonville Jaguars fans aren't the first ones that come to mind. There have been some gems out there, don't get me wrong. There's been some viral fans out there. But now I'm starting to raise them in my ranks after this because they were, this is a preseason game. You would think the crowd's still in preseason form just like the players. Maybe they're not up to snuff on their cheers, their heckling. Maybe they don't even sell that many tickets. It looks like at this particular game, not a lot of people there, but they've galvanized and came together to heckle Deshaun Watson in a way that I couldn't possibly imagine, and it makes me so giddy. Let's hear the video.
You sick fuck! You sick fuck! You sick fuck! You sick fuck! You sick fuck!
That's right, and we're at Children's Day here at the football park, the football stadium here at Jackson. What is it, TAA Bank Stadium or whatever? I don't know what the fuck it's called. But yeah, I mean, there's children. There are old people around. It doesn't matter. They are shouting, you sick fuck, as if it's like, let's go Jags. I mean, it is so unanimous. Everybody cheering it on. You know he's hearing it too. That's my favorite part. You know he's hearing it. And if I'm on the field, I'm laughing my ass off. It'd be very hard for me, even as a teammate of Deshaun Watson, to not go like, do you hear that? That's hilarious. And he'd be like, I don't know. It's really not that hilarious. I've lost tens of millions of dollars in lawsuits, and I am kind of a sick fuck. Well, I'm so happy football's back, and I'm so thank you, Jaguars fans, for making week 1 of preseason a memorable one. That is for sure. I mean, even if you didn't watch your team's gameplay this weekend, perhaps you saw this and you go, man, I can almost smell the crispness of fall in the air, you know? The autumn winds are starting to blow, and we're starting to get some football coming our way. But elsewhere, baseball is still happening. And there was a viral video that went along, and I saw Dave Portnoy tweeted about it, and he had a different take than everybody else. Of course, when I watched this video, it's a very sentimental video from the Little League World Series. It's you'll see it in a second here, but basically it's a feel-good video, just to give you a little bit of a premise on it. And when I see feel-good videos, of course, my inner bitch just comes out. And I don't speak about my inner bitch the way that Joe Rogan speaks about it, where he's like, you have to quell your inner... My inner bitch is just like, let's watch rom-coms. Let's fucking, let's get tissues out and get ready. Eat, strawberries in a quilt on the couch. That's my inner bitch. I don't try to suppress it. I don't mind it. I see a cat video, I'm starting to tear up, you know what I'm saying? So that's what my initial reaction was to this video, was being sad. Not sad, but, what's the word? I always equate crying.
Wistful?
Yeah, just being like, oh, it's so adorable. But Dave Portnoy had a very funny take. It's like the Little League World Series. First, let's see what happened before we get into it. I mean, you can read it as you're watching it, I suppose. So the pitcher beans the batter, hits him right in the side of the head. And that's a scary moment for any pitcher, unless you wanted to do that and you're a menace.
Tough kid right there.
So the kid gets drilled, takes his base. You can mute this, Rob. We don't need to hear them talk. And so he takes his base, and now the pitcher on the mound at the same time, like that just beaned the kid, is standing there with his glove over his head. He is distraught because he did this. So the kid walks off first base, comes up to the mound, gives him a hug, and says, you're doing all right. It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. I'm just, I don't know what he said verbatim, but I'm going to give you pretty much the rundown. So they kind of do a mound visit and come over and sort of aid the distraught child and sort of try to get his morale back up here. And the kid comes over from first. Now, what I thought would be hilarious, and Dave Portnoy said Dave Portnoy was outraged, and I thought that was funny that he was like, this is the Little League World Series, like you got in that kid's brain. Now you twist the nail, so to speak. I can't read the words.
Sweep the leg, Johnny.
Yeah, exactly. It's that attitude. And so everyone was up his ass. He started trending on Twitter because everyone's like, you're an animal. You're so terrible, blah, blah, blah. And I thought it was, it's obviously just a funny joke. What I really thought when I watched the video, though, was the pitcher should throw him out at first. Like, the kid walked off the base, and they all came over for a mound visit. Should have did the old hidden ball trick and passed it back to the first baseman, so when he got back, he'd be tagged out. And then he'd be like, it would have been a perfect ruse. Who would have been the bigger... Like, what a twist that would have been, right? So you think, like, oh, it's really nice of that kid that got beaned, not to take it personally and not to be like, fuck this pitcher, I'm glad he's crying, let's start hitting dingers off him. I think they took him out pretty close thereafter. But it's one thing to just, like, have that attitude and be like, well, he's such a good sport. How bad of a sport if after that kid came up to hug the pitcher, would the pitcher have been if he would have thrown him out? That would have made the guy turn into like the ultimate villain after he beaned him and everything like that. Would have made the batter look like a martyr. And I don't know. It would have been crazy. I started to think about that in my head. I'm like, which one could have been the worst sport at the end of the day? Oh, man. That's what, and if I'm a Little League pitcher, I'm taking this strategy to mind. If you're out there, if you have a child in Little League right now, maybe you two listen to the show together which would be a nice father-son bonding sort of experience. I want to, give a lesson. Don Cherry used to give lessons to the children out there about hockey. I want to do that right now for baseball. Do the old crying on the mound trick. This is the best time to, you bean the kid, you cry. Now every kid's going to want to be the new viral hero, and they're going to walk up to you and give you a hug. That's when you throw them out. That's when you give it to the first baseman. So when they come back over, tag, gone. Then you get to go, you should have stayed on your fucking base. Lesson learned. So yeah, tell your kids, if your kid's a pitcher out there in Little League, bean the kid, cry, get the hug, and then get the outs. It's going to work out great. You might get a fucking double play out of that in some instances. Who knows? But also we had this little piece of broadcasting action from the baseball world, which was an interesting one that came up. Another one where you look at the guy in the booth and you're going, did you, you know what you're saying right now, right?
Yeah, I've rubbed up quite a few balls in my life. Sure, it was a good learning experience.
Oh, you see how long that silence was?
Should we count it?
I mean, that was them laughing. That's them going like... He knew what he was doing there. That's what I love about it. He's like, I rubbed up a few balls in my life. And the other guy's like, we need to get in-booth cameras so that it can hold people accountable for things like that. You could tell they were laughing, too, because then he came back and he was like, I'm sure that was a good learning experience. Gay jokes, partner, right? Hilarious. Oh, boy. That's a fun one, though, because that's one where he's specific. Like, the other one, the coming one, I'm sure the other guy, he's like, focused in. He's locked in. And he was like, I didn't even catch it. This guy, this one, you're at a baseball game. It's fucking, what inning is this, Rob? It says it in the top corner.
Here, let's make it full screen.
It doesn't say. I can't tell if it says it or not. But it's, they're trying to string things along.
Bottom of the second?
Oh, it's only the bottom of the second, and they're already talking about innuendos about balls. Boy, oh boy, that broadcast must have gone off the rails pretty quickly. But that's one funny example for sure of, I want to, that's when I wish I could give a post-game press conference and ask questions to the broadcasters. In the bottom of the second, when you were talking about rubbing balls, did you know what you were going to say before you said it? Or when it came out of your mouth, did you realize it? And then you get a little dossier on how that all went. But I'm excited. Football's back. The sports world is coming back. Some people have noted perhaps there hasn't been as many sports stories lately. And that is simply because there hasn't been as many sports lately. The fall brings all the sports with it, and I can't wait. You got football, then we've got hockey, we've got basketball, all kinds of stuff coming. But let's get into the news because we have to start off with a bit of a sad note in the news. Let's get into it. R.I.P. Anne Heche. We all saw the footage over the weekend. Well, it's been a week now, I guess. And I feel like I was asking Rob and Kirsten here. I was like, am I an idiot for not really knowing what's going on about this Anne Heche business or what? Like, I can't tell you. I saw that she was in a car accident, and I saw some of the video. But then, people were talking about drugs. People were talking about other things. And it's all very cloak and dagger. It's almost like the internet doesn't tell me enough. Like when I guess maybe my Google is just mainstream media idiot or something like that, because I just get the like RIP article at this point, And Kirsten, you didn't even know who Anne Heche is, right? You're like, should I know her from something?
I have no idea.
She's like a 90s actress that was in... I remember her explicitly in a Matthew McConaughey rom-com where it was like they were in a plane crash, I believe, and lived on an island.
Matthew McConaughey? I thought that was... Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
Give it a goog, because I remember thinking in my head, wasn't Matthew McConaughey just... There was a period of his career where he was just doing rom-coms, it seemed. Everything was a rom-com. He did one with J-Lo. He did one, I thought, with Anne Heche. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's
I'm almost certain that's Harrison Ford, by the way.
Oh, Harrison Ford. You are correct. You got it. You nailed it.
6 Days, 7 Nights.
That movie
1998.
sucked. And, she was in a lot of stuff, but you know what she was most famous for, Kirsten, was, and this was very, I don't know, I guess you could say progressive for the time. She came out as a lesbian and immediately dated Ellen DeGeneres. And when Ellen and her broke up, this is pre-Portia de Rossi, when her and Ellen broke up, Anne Heche went back to being straight. And she claimed that Hollywood blacklisted her because of her being a lesbian, which was odd because, Ellen was killing it and also much more of a lesbian. So it was just a very odd stance that she took. So some people thought maybe she was doing what people get accused of nowadays, where they're changing their gender or whatever. They're changing their pronouns and things like that, almost in a way to get clout. People kind of looked at it like, oh, Anne Heche is hopping on the old lesbo bandwagon here. And they weren't sure if she was true in her convictions or not. But, obviously people can go back and, people are bi, and maybe bi wasn't so much of a understandable sentiment back in the 90s. It was people were already like, what? Ellen's gay? As if that was like a shocking revelation, When it happened, everyone was like, oh, her? The one on the television? No. But, yeah, so, she was very famous for that. She says her career tanked post all of that. So that's why you, Kirsten, have not seen her in any films, evidently. It's because she's a lesbian. And Hollywood doesn't like lesbians, according to Anne Heche. Meanwhile, reality is a different story. So Anne Heche always kind of been off her rocker a little bit, right? And I don't want to speak ill of the dead because I also don't know what's going on here. The other question I have is, I know that there was news footage of the woman who owned the home, but no one in that house got hurt that she collided into. We're hearing all about Anne Heche's status, and, she was put onto life support and eventually taken off of it, and subsequently passed away. But nobody in that home, thankfully, was injured, because boy, oh boy. And I know a couple of kids back in high school. This happened many a time back in high school. I feel like it happened like a handful of times. Drunk kids would just go whipping in their cars and get too wasted and then just lose control of it and then like crash into a house or something like that at the end of the street. And so Anne Heche kind of, this was in the middle of the daytime. She had evidently had gone to a hair salon right before that. I saw an interview with the man who worked at the hair salon, and they asked him, did she seem inebriated? Did she seem on drugs or drunk or something like that? And he was like, no, she was a very lovely person. She purchased a red wig and told me that she didn't. I said, no, that's not cut or, whatever they do to it, sized or cut or whatever, treated. And I told her all this, but she still wanted it. That's your sign, brother. That's the sign that you're not dealing with a woman of sound mind. I don't know. She put the fucking red wig on and then drove around like Cruella de Vil, because good golly, after she left there, I don't know, unless you are trying to die, why you would drive this fast in a Mini Cooper. And we do have the video. Let's see it to give anybody who, like me, was in the dark a little glimpse as to what we're talking about here. This is first like in an alley where she almost hits somebody. She just peels away. This is like right before. Someone's filming it because she's almost hit people in this little alleyway. I didn't know a Mini Cooper could go that fast. Now here is the most crazy video. This isn't sped up at all. Just tearing through there, and I don't know how far away that was comparative. We don't need to see that part, but that was just her being pulled out of the car. But can we go back to just can you cue up just the middle video of her whipping through that Ring camera thing there? My father used to have a Mini Cooper, and you can mute it too. We don't need to hear the sound of it. And I used to drive it around. I remember there was a time I had to go pick up my sister or something like that. And Mini Coopers, in the snow are a nightmare to handle. They're a very small car, obviously lightweight. Maybe they've changed in the last 12 years or so. But I remember driving it, and it's just a small amount of snow on the ground. And I did a full 360, just going like 30 miles an hour because it was that hard to control. Seeing Anne Heche Italian job style whip this thing down the street like that is insane. And it's like, I mean, she went straight into a house. It's not like she tried to, you don't hear any brakes during that. You don't hear any, you hear just squealing of tires, which I don't know. It's just like the whole car is like coming down the street. You can hear it a mile away. But you know what I really am? Is proud of the internet, because despite the circumstances of this wreck and why it happened and how people may feel about Anne Heche, the internet really didn't meme this as much as I would have expected going in. This is one of those videos, hands down, that you could have memed. You know what I mean? I could think of 1,000. You know, it's like when she's got that wop and she just rolled a blunt, you know, and it's her fucking car whipping down the street. See if you can cue it up, and I'll see if I can time it out. Go back to the beginning. All right.
Sound or no sound?
No sound. It's like when your girl orders Domino's and she says you could play Xbox tonight, so come on through.
Damn it.
You know what I mean? We could have had 1,000 of those. But the internet, I didn't see one. You know? I didn't see one of them. When she's got that wet-ass pussy and rolling up them dank-ass blunts.
I like that this is your voice for Side Dick Eddie. We should get Side Dick Eddie in here to do some voiceover work.
Oh my God, he has the best, deeper voice than I have. He's got plenty of bass in his. He could read a lot of things. We're definitely gonna have to get him in here for sure. That would be awesome. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, R.I.P. Anne Heche. I mean, boy, oh boy. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to call her
Idiot woman.
but Jesus, she might be. Don't want to speak ill of the dead, but she might be. You know, I
can't abide such idiocy any longer.
But we had an email, by the way, at joshpottershow@gmail.com that brought up last week's topic of the racist mascots, or the mascots that could potentially be racist or perhaps not racist. It says, "Hey Josh, I had something I wanted to inform you of regarding the VeggieTales cartoon characters from last week. You said if they had a watermelon to represent the
inner city blacks."
I gotta have John Otto say it. She wrote it, but I gotta have John Otto say it. Then that would be racist. My twin 11-month-old daughters love VeggieTales to this day. They watch it all day, every day. There is a watermelon character. It is part watermelon, part dinosaur, and its name is Takeosaurus. Its whole thing is taking things that don't belong to it. He just takes and takes and takes. Is it this roach's belief that the watermelon does indeed represent
the inner city blacks?
And the show creators are saying that watermelons steal things? This person disagrees, but black kids definitely don't steal bikes, they said. Oh, that's a Tom thing. Hi and tight, Scott from Mississippi. So, do we have a video of this? Or a picture of this person? Watermelon-bodied dinosaur. They were like, we can't make a 2 on the nose. We got to give it. We just make the body a watermelon, and we'll make it a dinosaur. That's what we'll do. That way, people won't call us out on it. But yeah, no, it steals things. It's a really wild. That good catch, Scott in Mississippi, by the way. So he's got a fine eye for these types of things. These subtle, racisms. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, and we'll have to keep our eye on Takeosaurus. They didn't put watermelon or anything in his name either. That was smart of them in many ways. But we have plenty of Roach Reports coming up in just a moment. I want to let you know that today's show is brought to us by BetterHelp. Life is full of twists and turns, my friend, and ups and downs, don't you know? I've experienced many, and you know what helps keep me balanced is speaking to a therapist, honest to God. Like, I've taken part in this, and it actually is even easier to do it when it's over Zoom or your phone. It's not over Zoom, but it's over their app. You can do it video. You can do even just audio if you're not comfortable looking someone in the face when you kind of use BetterHelp. But you can do it from the comfort of your own home. You can do it at your office, on your lunch break, wherever you have time, whenever you have time. You can use BetterHelp. And right now, BetterHelp Online Therapy is here to help with those twists and turns and match you with your own licensed professional therapist in less than 48 hours. They can do it right away. So just go get that app, sign up right now. You can visit betterhelp.com/JoshPotter. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JoshPotter, and join over 2 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with experienced professionals. So many people have been using BetterHelp that they're actually recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states. So let them match them up with yours. Special offer for all the little roaches out there. They get 10% off the first month at betterhelp.com/JoshPotter. Thank you to BetterHelp. We're going to find some people who need some BetterHelp right here. Because further in the news, Roach reporter out there, Justin, sent in some wonderful things. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, we have some other depressing news. I talked about this woman a lot in past weeks because she was an OnlyFans person that I was subscribed to very heavily. I was buying her things. In fact, the man in this picture with her, I saw his penis go inside of her a few times in a few different ways. Her name is Courtney Clenny. She was going by Courtney Taylor on the old OnlyFans. And like I said, bought many. She started out as a fitness girl. I don't know how I came across her in the algorithm. My algorithm is just straight up on Instagram, baseballs and butts. That's pretty much the whole thing. So Instagram knows what I like, and I think I came across her, and she was just this hot girl that was like trying to sell like fitness stuff, fitness clothes, workouts. Oh, try this workout. It helps your ass get bigger, whatever the case. And I think she learned that this was too finite or that nobody gave a shit. And she decided, you know what? Going full porn. So her OnlyFans took a turn, and a turn for the better, if you ask this roach right here. And she started doing full-on stuff, and it was really ramping up, I gotta say. At its apex toward the end there, she was doing full-on sex scenes, and with this gentleman that is in the photo here. And evidently, we talked about it, we reported it, this man was murdered. And prime suspect number one is old Miss Courtney Clenny.
Murder.
And so, to give you back the details here, it was back in Miami, back in April. She was arrested, charged with murder right after it happened. The 26-year-old was taken into custody in Hawaii. Eventually, this is like months later after an investigation. Her arrest was confirmed Wednesday afternoon by her Miami defense lawyer. I'm completely shocked, especially since we were cooperating with the investigation and offered to voluntarily surrender her if she were charged. We look forward to clearing her name in court. Well, I'm sure you were cooperating, but at the end of the day, it's like they were like, yeah, no, she did it, so we have to arrest her. The arrestor caps a 4-month investigation by Miami police. They were in a hotel, you see, and they were in this Miami hotel, and I swear to God, I bought a video of them fucking in this hotel. I definitely did, because it was like I bought it, and then days later, murder. And it showed footage of the hotel. Like in the, I don't know, the pictures that you would see in the article when it was like murder in Miami or whatever. And I'm like, that's the hotel that they were. So is my OnlyFans like evidence? Like, I wonder if I can even still access it. I better be able to. I'll make a fucking phone call right away to OnlyFans and be like, I paid for this. Where's my fucking porn? I know that she murdered him, but now it makes me want to watch him. It's somewhere there in the archives. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, she's, it doesn't say what her, the boyfriend was also like doing OnlyFans too. I wonder if he still got his up, because hers doesn't exist anymore. But the things I purchased, I think, should still be. And if they're not, I'm coming for you, OnlyFans. I'll tally up however many. I don't got the statements. I got the statements, and I will come after you. That's what my concern is mostly in most of this, is that I will still get porn. Hey, she could keep it going and get some real good jail footage. Some girl-on-girl stuff if she gets put into a prison. So I'm just saying, Courtney, don't shut it down quite yet. Maybe we can see what's going on here with... Because we also have another story in here that involves a prison relationship. Let's see if I can find it because it's not at the top of my stack. I know, right? Oh, here it is. Now, this guy lucked out. This guy, if you're going to jail for anything, and say you're, I've been binge watching Better Call Saul, and, Kim Wexler, she's like, I want to be a public defender, and she's like, going gung-ho. At one point, they say, like, that was a crazy case you made there for that defendant of yours. You must have put in about 50 hours of work there, and you're getting paid $700, so 50, they did the math. They're like, you're making minimum wage. Public defenders don't necessarily either. It's kind of like they're weighing their options here. They get a lot of cases in front of them, and they don't necessarily get to give the best legal advice every time. A, because maybe they're not qualified, or B, because they're too scatterbrained because they have too many things going on. It's the nature of the beast. If you're poor and you go into the system, you're kind of fucked, as opposed to a rich person. But not the luckiest guy ever. Here we have a public defender goes above and beyond for their client. This coming into us from Justin M., who sent it over to joshpottershow@gmail.com. A reportedly since fired Jackson County, Missouri public defender has been sentenced to federal prison for smuggling heroin to a prison inmate with whom she had a romantic relationship. So not only is this public defender fucking this guy, which is already awesome, she's bringing him heroin. That means she's like, she's got to bring in the heroin in the jail. She's got to like go to some lengths, to get that in there. That's a ride or die right there. My God. I'd like to meet a girlfriend who would do half of this. And by half, I mean just fuck me. That would be nice. That'd be nice to meet a girlfriend like that. But boy, to bring me heroin in jail and also like have a relationship with me in jail. And she's trying to get him off the charge. She's trying hard, right? Her name is Julianne L. Colby. She's 44 years old, of Kansas. She's going to spend 1 year and 1 month behind bars herself. Hope it doesn't sound like she got a good public defender herself there. Court records say she must serve 3 years on supervised release when the term of her incarceration concludes. The DOJ summarized the drug smuggling charges as follows. We don't need to hear about that. We know she put heroin in her hoo-ha and then brought it into him. I want to get more into the doing it stuff. In August 2019, Colby regularly visited the conspirator, they won't give his name, at the Cameron Correctional Center, where he was serving a sentence for his murder conviction. Oh my God, another.
murder.
Colby and the conspirator, as they keep calling him, had a series of phone conversations during which they used a variety of code words to discuss the plan to mail heroin and contraband into the center. So she didn't actually put it into her pussy or her asshole. She actually mailed it. Kind of. Now I'm like, is she ride or die? I don't know. Is that her on the screen? No, that's him. Okay.
No, that's C. Antonio Kennedy.
That's the guy?
Yeah.
My eyes are so blurry. I'm like, is that her?
Just see long
because I was
hair.
kind of like, I guess you take what you can get when you are getting heroin and sex while you're in jail for murder charges. But hey, what did she look like? Was that her down below or was that him?
No, they don't have any pictures of her that I can
Fuck
see.
me, and they have his name and they don't have it in here. What'd you say, Kirsten?
I was trying to find a picture of her too, and it's like it only shows him.
Oh, well, that's so funny that I'm like, ooh, rough mug on that lady, but no, that's the guy. Okay. Yeah, no, I just saw the long hair. So yeah, he's in there. He's serving for murder. They're trying to talk about email or mailing drugs, heroin specifically. These calls were monitored and recorded by the correctional center. All the calls if you're calling a correction center, it is recorded. It doesn't matter what code you could use. It's got to be so ironclad because they are definitely going to listen to it. Think about it. There's a guy whose job it is to listen to that. That person, that's what their passion is listening to phone conversations. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a person who's like, I can't wait. Oh, you hear some juicy shit. They're going through it with a fine-tooth comb. I guess if you knew that they were just some bored person who didn't give a shit, it's a different story. You got to really know the personality of the person who monitors the phones to know if you're going to get narked on or not, or how explicit your codes need to be. But I'm just saying, like, everyone knows jail conversations are recorded. How many people have gotten in trouble from the past and to now? Just fucking don't say shit on the phone at jail. It's another lesson for the kids out there. We talked about that Little League lesson. Here's another one. When you go to jail, the phones are tapped. All right? So fucking stop getting yourself in trouble. The defendant has no criminal history prior points in part because she has received diversion for 2 serious offenses. Okay. The defendant misused prior leniency, a high-end guideline sentence. Oh, so she was using her public defender stance to get out of other shit back in the day. That's neither here nor there. Let's see how they eventually started coming together. When she arrived back in America after she was abandoned in South Korea. Well, if you're abandoned, this is a wild story. Julian Colby was born and abandoned in South Korea back in 1977. She lived in an orphanage for the first 2 years of her life. Although the details of this early period of her life are unknown to her, when she was adopted at 22 months old, she was malnourished to the point she wore 9-month-old's clothing. And she was inexplicably afraid of men. When she arrived in America with her adoptive parents, she required several years of adjustment. She suffered panic attacks for fear that she would be given back to the Korean orphanage. So this woman went through hell. She is mentally just like broken from a very young age, unbelievably young age. She rose above all of this to become a lawyer, and uses her powers for good to become a public defender and help the people that can't afford to have their day in court. And then she succumbs to a murderer's big dick. And that's what did her in. After all that strife and just rising above all the odds, all it took was a good dicking for her to just throw it all to the wind. Miss Colby desperately seeks approval from loved ones, always feeling as if she is not good enough to receive it. This is what the defense is arguing here. Some of the conversations on the phone read like this. Do you have it?
Yeah, let me find it real quick. Okay, so
you're Colby, I'm Kennedy. Yes.
Okay. Should I start?
All right, so we will read the text messages between the two, playing the role of the defense attorney / lady will be Kirsten, and I will be the jailed man who is named Mr. Kennedy, evidently. Begin.
Question: have you only dated black girls?
Honestly, yeah, but I've been with all kinds before. Why?
Just curious. So have you only dated black girls but messed around with girls of different ethnicities?
You're lying again.
Oh, sorry. Asians are the best, just so you know. Kiss emoji.
She's trying to get herself up there and pumped up. Yeah, but never Asians. I'm curious to find out, and why means what about you?
See, I'm old. I don't know acronyms. LOL. I've been with white guys, but since college, I've been with black guys. I tend to attract black guys.
LOL, it's okay. I'll teach you the ones you don't know and which is better, white or black. He's trying to find out which is better here. Because you know what they say. Once you go, you never. So let's see if she agrees.
Well, I've been with black guys who are horrible, and I've been with white guys who are awesome. So honestly, it just depends.
Aw. LOL, aw, okay, I see. He's disappointed with the answer.
I know people say once you go black, you never go back, but I have been with black guys who put black guys to shame. LOL, I have been with black guys who were very well endowed. But white guys I've been with have held their own. I have never gotten any complaints. Asian women are awesome. I am great at what I do. I've been told I'm the best by every guy I've ever been with. Wink emoji. Not to brag, but I will because I am that great.
LOL, I want to find out for myself. Hold on for a moment. He's not doing much. I've done a lot of sexting in my days. Doesn't even seem like he gives a shit. He's like, LOL, cool. Basically to her, like, being like, what's the acronym for sucking your dick? Like, that's basically what she's trying to find out here. I'm old. I don't know acronyms. Does that mean, like, drink your cum? Like, what is she? She's over here trying to really throw it out there, and he is not even biting. He's like, all right, so this girl, he's luring her in, and now he's going to be like, bring me heroin. I hope that's what it's getting to. But let's see what else. Okay, so keep going.
I have 20 years on you, though. LOL.
I'm most definitely up for a challenge. Girls my age can't handle me. I need a real woman. 2 kiss emojis.
Girls your age annoy the shit out of me. They're so ungodly immature. LOL.
Women hit their sexual peaks around the late... I'm sorry, this is you.
Sorry, that's me again. It keeps throwing me off that she's going back to back.
I'm sorry.
Women hit their sexual peaks around late 30s to 40s, and guys hit theirs in their early 20s. So that is why you see older women with younger men.
So you're at your sexual peak, meaning that this is the time in your life where you're the most freakiest.
No, I'm an exception. I've been in a sexual peak, and I'm Asian, so I've always been a freak.
Freaky enough to give it to me in a jail visitation room? LOL. Here we go. Now he's figuring it out.
That's not being freaky. That's gambling. LOL.
Further along in the conversation, Colby told Kennedy that she could lose her job, her law license, her social work license if she got caught, and that she couldn't take that risk. I'm ready for everything you're ready for, Kennedy replied.
I don't doubt your skills and willingness.
And that was that. And scene. So obviously we know that despite her explaining, thank you, despite her explaining all of the reasons why she couldn't do it and why she shouldn't do it, she ultimately did it. And I do wonder, are Asians the best? We'll have to find out next time. They didn't get into that.
If her sexting is any indication, then she's fucking awful in bed, because that was the least sexy conversation I have ever...
Yeah.
She's trying to keep it kind of professional. Not really, actually. You're right. That was.
I don't know.
No, you're right.
That.
And here's the thing, because I've been through the sexting gambit, and it's embarrassing to go back and read your sex. I would say, like, it is just if we did that with my sex, I should try and maybe I never reveal it. I should do like a 3-card Monty of like which sex are mine and which one I made up, and see if we can guess which one.
2 truths and a lie,
yeah,
but with
I'm down for
sexting.
that.
Exactly, yeah, with sexting. Or maybe people out there, if you want to help me feel less embarrassed, you send in some of your more wild sexts, and we don't have to give identity. But yeah, you have some that are just like, this is my speed, and then you have some where it's like, oh, this is cute. She's really giving it a go. You know what I mean? And that's what I would have thought with this Colby woman here. I would have been like, oh, this is adorable. She's being flirty. But I mean, I would have been like him. I wouldn't have been able to up the ante, because I would have been kind of like, all right, this is adorable or whatever. And to his credit, he didn't jump in and take the bait right away. He wasn't like, but he did eventually get to like, you freaky enough. Like, he saw his window there. He's like, oh, so you're at your freakiest age right now. And she was like, hell yeah. And he's like, freaky enough to do it in the jail. And she was like, ooh, she was getting to that point anyway, but she wanted him to know the consequences. She wanted him to know and hopefully feel the weight of her decision so that it meant more to him. But in that moment, you have to understand, lady, don't matter. He's never going to care. You know what I'm saying? When it's coming to sexting, you're trying to get ultimately that carrot at the end of the stick. And when you post up the consequences be damned in that moment. You're never going to find a guy, unless it's post-nut clarity, you're never going to be able to make those consequences weigh on his mind the way that they weigh on your mind, lady.
Idiot woman!
But she ended up, losing all of those things and more. Looks like she went to jail, and she had drug charges brought up upon her. So her life is destroyed. This guy, he's like, I'm still here. I'm still in the jail. His life didn't really change much. He got some ass. Good for him. Good for him at the end of the day, I suppose. She knew what she was getting into. Here we have another one from Justin M. This is a very different sort of article here. It doesn't involve murder, but it does involve revenge. And I've never, I've wanted to take revenge out on people at times, but, I try through therapy and things like that. I go, you know what? It's better. I'm too lazy for revenge is what I've noticed, because it will never be as good as what was done to me. Do you know what I'm saying? It won't hurt as hard ever, and it doesn't make you feel better at the end of the day. So I'm never a big proponent of revenge. Kind of let things wash off the back a little bit, especially in my older age. But there are some services out there, evidently, if you do enough research, that will lend themselves to you providing revenge on somebody. And I didn't know this existed until right now, thanks to Justin M. But Shit Express. It's called Shit Express. It's a website, evidently, a web service that lets you send a box of feces along with a personalized message to friends and enemies. It's been breached. So now all the customer lists have apparently become vulnerable. So people who have used this service, their names, obviously, credit card statements paying for the feces that they send. I wonder whose feces it is, by the way, too. At Shit Express. Do you get to send your own feces? Probably not. Maybe it's a little more expensive to have that service done. You have to go to the UPS store and put your shit in a box. Like, what happens here is what I want to know. We'll find out as we get further along. But could you imagine if you've done this and now, would you be nervous? If you took part in Shit Express, sent it to an enemy, would you be worried about your name showing up on the list? Yes or no, folks?
Why wouldn't you just send your own shit? Why would you hire somebody to do that?
Well, I'll tell you. I believe sending feces in the mail is a crime, is a federal offense of some kind. I forget what it's called, but it's the whole reason why you can't really send panties legally in the mail, because it's the same sort of like panties that are soiled. You're sending bodily fluids through the mail, and that is a crime of some sort.
But that doesn't mean that it's not a crime to hire somebody to do such a thing.
Well, that's where we get into the weeds with it, Rob. You see, if you're going to hire an assassin to murder your wife, you make sure you go to a good company where you go, okay, this guy's murdered 6 guys' wives or something like that. In this case, you go to Shit Express and you go, well, they have a reputable, they're pretty reputable. They've delivered countless shit to people along the way. They've delivered thousands of boxes of shit, and I haven't heard of anyone getting arrested. So I'm going to trust my revenge with Shit Express, you see? And so, sure, just as illegal. But if you want to cover your tracks, maybe you go to Shit Express as opposed to just hopping down to the old FedEx store and throwing your shit into here you go. But I don't know. Let's see how their service worked, because if I'm going to send shit to somebody's house, I don't want it to just, how do you know it's good shit? You could have some tough shit. What if it's just some guy who's eats good, he's pumping out hard logs that'll dry out in the sun within just a couple of minutes. I don't want that. I want like a fucking bowl of diarrhea sent to them. So I want my own flavor, If they're going to smell shit, I want it to be out of my ass. You understand?
I kind of feel like any shit that's been in the mail for, 3 to 7 days is going to...
I think you're wrong again, Rob. I'm sorry.
The floor on that is not going to be...
You're right, to a degree. Again, depends on the shit. If you got just one log, if there's someone out there at Shit Express who's like, man, it's 4:58 on a Friday, I want to get out of here, and they got to pinch off that last log to send out your shit, you know what I mean? It's going to be some dumb little log that's going to dry out, and it might not even smell by the time. What if you're sending that from L.A. to Maine? You got to go across the whole country. By the time that little hard turd gets there, it's just going to be dust. It's going to be brittle, and maybe it has a little bit of a smell to it, but it's not going to be the punch in the face that you hope when you sign up for a website like Shit Express. That's
why I'm saying you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. That's
Thank you. No,
that's
you're
why
right.
I personally would not have used this service, and then therefore my information would not be out in the streets.
But what if it were exposed that you sent somebody? Well, here's the other difference. If you get caught sending your personal shit to your enemy, there's no confusion there. You can't really sidestep that if you were to be exposed for that. Say they put a return address on there on accident or something like that. With Shit Express and having their countless customers list exposed, with that, you can have a bit of, well, I didn't send it to you. You know what I mean? I got a lot of enemies. You don't know how many times I used Shit Express. You don't know that I sent it to your house. Is my name on the Shit Express list? Sure. Am I the only person you know on there? That's, who knows?
Safety and anonymity, anonymity of crowds.
Exactly. Well, also an anonymity of motive, because again, your name shows up on that list. That doesn't mean I sent, the person that suspects me of sending them Shit Express. That doesn't mean it was me. There's a whole bunch of people on this list. Who knows how many of them you pissed off? You're a shithead person. You're getting Shit Express delivered to you. You know what I'm saying?
I am seeing on this computer. Do you want to let people know about some of the interesting?
Right
Kirsten
services.
I'm on Shit Express right now, and step 1 is we choose our animal. And it says that right now they're offering organic wet horse poop, but there's also a button you can click for an elephant.
Ooh, I do like the variety, but I will say, disappointed as a whole that human isn't an option.
Well,
There's nothing like a human shit.
here-
Wait, so
here's
is that
how
why
they-
it's legal? Because it's animal shit?
I
Because
don't
you
know.
can send animal shit in the mail.
They
certain
do
types.
advertise it as gluten-free kosher horse shit as low as $16.95.
And you can
a
send
deal.
horse shit under a sort of probably a ruse that you're having a garden or something like that.
Like a fertilizer.
Right.
Yeah. Although fertilizer and mail typically doesn't get along either, Unabomber kind of reasons. But nevertheless, well, what I learned recently, I think from just listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, horse shit is literally horse shit. You can't grow shit in it. It's just garbage. You need like regular manure. And horse shit is like kind of like what, like, you know how when they cut Coke, they put like baking soda in it? That's like that's what horse shit is. They like make the manure like worse so they can sell more of it. See what I'm saying?
Oh, they're like stepping on it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So what else does it offer? Give me some other, does it have options of like amount or consistency? Anything like that?
No, it shows a tub. Looks like your average like Tupperware tub. Just what I would describe as like ice cream scoops full of horse shit. And there is one review that says we tested the service and it worked very well. 5 out of 5 stars, full grade horse shit as promised.
Amazing. And again, like I said, you can't really grow anything in horse shit, according to my past just listening to some people talk on a podcast. But you can definitely send it to people's houses and make them annoyed. So it's actually good use of the horse shit at the end of the day. And so the website's still up. So that means this breach hasn't taken them down in any way. In fact, I think this breach might actually bring more advertisement to them. Now more people know that Shit Express exists. So I think this falls under the old all press is good press kind of thing when it comes to Shit Express.
I don't even think they send it to the USPS, do they? Think
Well,
they use UPS or FedEx.
probably. Here, I have a list here. It says choosing an animal, animal's shit. You could either, like you said, get organic, wet horse poop, providing a shipping address, customize the packaging. You can have like a smiley sticker on it. You pay for your order. Payments can be made via credit card or through Bitcoin. The service promises to its patrons complete anonymity even when paying via credit card. So that is where it gets hairy with this breach, this information breach. This time around, shitexpress.com visited by an interesting customer, Pom Pom Purin, the owner of Breached Co-Hacking Forum and a well-known hacker who has previously stolen private data from companies like Question Pro and Mangatune. I don't know what those places are, but I'd imagine they're places you don't want your identity coming out yet. They sound like pedophile websites. I don't know what they are, but they sound like, that's what they sound like. I'm going to get people in the comments. No, I'm on Question Pro all the time, bro. It's not a pedophile website. It's like a fucking blah, blah, blah.
The technical term is a feeble
I'm
file.
making a joke, you fucking losers. The hacker also previously put up stolen data of 7 million Robinhood customers. So this guy is a menace. You know, there was a data breach too with Ashley Madison, I remember back in the day. That was pretty heavy duty. And I could see, like, when that news story came out, my dad was asking a lot of questions about how the internet works at that time, trying to figure some things out, wondering, so, like, if this is breached, like, does it like get printed somewhere? Like, you're asking a lot of those types of questions about Ashley Madison. So this hacker had just like he had it out for all these things. He's getting investigated by the FBI, and so I think this was just kind of like one of those RICO cases where it's like he's gotten the data breached on things that matter. Things like Robinhood and things like that. And now this is all part of it too. They're like, oh, so by the way, this guy also has data for the Shit Express. If you do use shitexpress.com, your shit might be out there. So just, heed that warning. And I think they're probably locked tight now over at shitexpress.com. They're probably, they've got that thing sealed up like Fort Knox as far as security goes. So have at. Send some shit. Don't send it. This good thing I don't have an address on here. I imagine we'd get some samples. But let me know if you've used it. Let me know if you will use it. And let me know if you've received it more so, because I want to know, how good is this? I mean, because if they're delivering it, you mean to tell me they don't smell it as they're like, the mail carriers like taking it up to the stoop?
Yeah, like you just said you were in Chicago and it was really hot. Can you imagine if a box is just sitting in Chicago heat for like a day
right?
until someone gets there to it?
And it must be sealed or something to that point, to which case I can't tell you how many packages I get where if something came in a sealed box, I wouldn't open it. I'd be like, this is weird. Am I on a list? Is there some guy in a cabin who's got me on a list someplace? That's what I would think. And I would just be like, did my mom mail me leftovers? What the hell is this? Golly. There's a lot of things that I think would go wrong.
I wonder if anyone's actually testing it to see if it is actual horseshit.
I mean, you mean when they receive it?
Yeah.
I don't know. But here's the thing, folks. At the end of the day, this seems like a lot to go through in order to send shit to your enemies. I say you just go get drunk, walk up to their step, and just dump right on their fucking welcome mat. And then it's not in a nice little package. Because if you take a package, you're like, ooh, and then you put it back and you go, that was gross, and you throw it in the dumpster outside. If you just take a wild shit on someone's front porch, that's like, you got to call somebody to come clean that up. That's not just going away anytime soon. So take out your revenge for real, and you wear a mask in case you get caught on a Ring camera like Anne Heche, flying by. Just make sure your identity's covered up and you'll be all set. You know what I mean? So lots of lessons out there for the kids today here on the old Josh Potter Show. Thank you so much for joining us once again. joshpottershow@gmail.com is where you can send your articles in the way that the other Roach reporters have. There was a few we didn't get to, but we'll get to them down the road, my friend. We're always saving them, always stockpiling. So continue to send them again, joshpottershow@gmail.com. Follow along on Instagram @Josh_Potter. Follow along on Twitter @J_Potter. There you'll find links to all the shows coming up, including Philadelphia, Helium Comedy Club, August 25th. Big time stuff. That's the next big show. And then, like I said, September 30th, Yuma, Arizona. Those tickets going on sale very shortly. It'll be Chase O'Donnell and I together over in Yuma, Arizona. One night only, one show only. So come on out if you're out in that area. Lots more coming up for the fall weekends that I am excited to announce. So I'll let you know about those. Oh, one I can announce right now that's on sale. Ontario Improv here in Southern California, September 14th. So pleased to be buying tickets to all the live shows. Twitch.tv/Josh_Potter and Patreon.com/The Josh Potter Show. All these things can be found in the description. Thanks to Rob. Thanks to Kirsten. Thanks to everybody who came out to Chicago. Professor Pizza. Shout out to Professor Pizza. Go check out his shit if you're in Chicago and you like pizza, because it is otherworldly. Thank you so much to him for coming out. If I'm forgetting anybody else, I'm sorry, but I had such a great time in Chicago. Oh, thanks to Dave Kaplan, NBC Sports, Ozzie Guillen. Awesome time had there. And I can't wait to go to Philadelphia next. But first, by the way, Your Mom's House Live. If you're watching this the day this comes out, that's tomorrow night. So get your package, get your pay-per-view, and we'll see you on that even sooner than Philadelphia next week. I love you. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next Tuesday right here on The Josh Potter Show.